Hi everyone, it's May 4th still, and I'm making this short video because I've had a couple of requests. Actually, this has happened a few times. Let me give you a little background. When I first started, I didn't really have a whole lot of trolls bothering me. There were a couple here and there. But when this whole thing started to occur with the Boston Marathon and all that, I started getting some really nasty, vitriolic, venomous stuff. People accusing me of things that they know nothing about, thinking they know more than they really do. And it was really pretty nasty. But besides all of that, a lot of you said, don't pay attention to those people. They're just there to get your mind off of what you're doing. Don't let them, sidetrack you. And that was good counsel, and I've pretty much done that. At my age, you really don't need to, defend yourself that much anyway. But by the same token, I consider it to be, kind of a responsibility, because a lot of people are out there saying, Roy's telling the truth about himself and all that. And they're sticking their neck out a little bit, maybe. Especially when I understand, I haven't looked at them myself, but I guess there's some other channels out there that are, saying pretty bad stuff. And some of you are trying to defend me against that, which you don't have to do, but I appreciate. But what I did, you may remember that I said in one of my videos that I was sending my Army documentation to some media people. And either in the last video or the one before that, I mentioned I was on a radio show having to do with, the New Hampshire representative who was questioning the FBI's handling of the Boston bombing. Tremblay, I believe is her name. So, at any rate, why I mentioned that I was on the show and didn't plug the show, I guess I'm just not into this media thing. It's been a long time. So, I'm just going to say it. I did send documents to Pete Santilli. So, Pete Santilli has a radio show on the internet. It's called The Pete Santilli Show. He is a former Marine, but I'll tell you what. He still has Marine Corps in his blood. He is fantastic. And you all need to go listen to not just the show that I'm going to tell you about that I was on, but a lot of the other things he has too. For instance, let me tell you the show I was on. You can go to go to Google, type in the Pete Santilli Show, and then you click on that, and you go in and in the search window you type in episode number 408. America is in its death throes, Lieutenant Colonel Potter. That's I think that's exactly how you type it in. Or you can go to YouTube and do the same thing. Just go in the search window there and type in episode number 408, America is in its death throes, Lieutenant Colonel Potter. Either one should work. But if you go to, once you get on there, there's a little, the show starts to run, and I think, at least on the Pete Santilli show, you have to go to the pause button up on top. You'll see it between the name of his show and the Guerrilla Media Network, I think, somewhere in there. And then you can go down to the actual window where the radio show is, and you can click on that and you can listen to it. Now, the first hour of it, John Rappaport is his guest. I don't know if you know who John Rappaport is, but he's a very interesting guy. I'd encourage you to listen to that as well. And then I come on in the second hour. And then during that show, Pete Santilli brings up the fact that I sent him my DD-214 and an order from the Department of the Army assigning me to the Pentagon. Both of those documents, of course, show that I'm a lieutenant colonel, and the order from DOA to me, assigning me to the Pentagon, and to the receiving unit, of course, they get one as well, shows that my security clearance was a TS-SCI. Okay, what does that mean? Top secret, access to sensitive, compartmentalized information. Yeah, it's for real. So all of you who have stood up for me out there without this documentation, without this proof, just trusting my words, thank you. There's an old saying, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear will. Those who don't, you don't have to stick around. You can go somewhere else, get your entertainment watching Goldilocks or the Kardashian sisters or something like that. Those really important things, So anyway, thought I'd give you that information real quick. Pete Santilli is a great guy, and this is what I'll say about him. If we are ever in battle and I needed a Marine by my side, I can't think of a better one than Pete Santilli.